Hello, my friend. You're watching this video right now. Maybe on your phone, maybe on your computer, maybe early in the morning when your eyes aren't fully open yet, or late at night lying in bed trying to fall asleep. In modern life, screens are everywhere. The first thing you look at when you wake up is a screen. Throughout the day, work, school, news, social media, messages. When you come home in the evening, television. Before sleeping, your phone again. This is almost everyone's life now. This is normal. This is unavoidable. Screens are everywhere in our lives. It's hard to even imagine spending a day without them. But knowing how screens affect us is very important. Not just our eyes, our brain, our sleep, our body, our psychology. Today we're going to look at all of these together. If you're ready, let's begin. Let's start with the eyes. For thousands of years our eyes looked at the horizon, looked at trees, looked at the sky, looked far away. Hunter-gatherer people spent hours every day out in open nature. Their eyes constantly focused on distant points. Looking at a small, close object for hours was never natural for human eyes. But in modern life, our eyes are now focused on a small screen most of the time. Our eyes are not designed for this. When looking at a screen, the number of times we blink drops dramatically. Normally we blink 15 to 20 times per minute. But when we focus on a screen, the brain gets so busy that this automatic system breaks down. Blinking drops to as low as 5 times per minute. Blinking keeps the eyes moist. When we blink less, the eyes dry out, burn, turn red, and hurt. In the medical world, this is called computer eye syndrome. And this syndrome has become one of the most common eye problems in the world today. There is also the blue light issue. Screens emit blue light. Sunlight also contains blue light, but the blue light coming from screens is much more intense and comes from a much closer distance. Over time, this light can damage the retina, which is the most sensitive part of the eye. Once the retina is damaged, it is very hard to recover. That is why taking early precautions is very important when it comes to eye health. The situation is more critical for children. Children's eyes are still developing. During this process, too much screen exposure negatively affects eye development. Research shows that in recent years, the rate of myopia, which means not being able to see far away, is rapidly increasing in children. 40 years ago, approximately 25% of the world's population was myopic. Today, that number is approaching 50%. And scientists say one of the biggest reasons for this is screen time and the decrease in time spent outdoors. Blue light doesn't only affect the eyes. It also has a very serious and very direct effect on the brain. Our brain produces a hormone called melatonin to fall asleep. This hormone is produced in the dark. For millions of years, the human brain received the signal, okay, the day is over, time to sleep, when the sun went down. When it got dark, it started releasing melatonin. But the blue light from screens tricks the brain. When the brain sees this light, it thinks it is still daytime. It doesn't produce melatonin. Sleep doesn't come. Even if you want to sleep, your body is not ready. People who use screens for 2 hours before bed fall asleep much later than those who don't. Not just later, their sleep quality is also much lower. They have a harder time entering deep sleep. They wake up more tired in the morning. They feel more exhausted throughout the day. And lack of sleep is a serious thing. The hours spent in front of a screen are mostly hours without movement. Lack of movement slows down the metabolism. Muscles gradually get weaker. Blood circulation decreases. The body burns less and less energy. Staying inactive for a long time also negatively affects heart and cardiovascular health. Research shows that prolonged sitting has negative effects on health, even if you exercise regularly. But perhaps the heaviest impact is the psychological one. On social media, everyone looks happy. Everyone's life looks beautiful. Everyone's home looks beautiful. Everyone's relationship looks beautiful. Everyone's life looks perfect. These images unconsciously push people to compare themselves with their own lives. And people start feeling inadequate. You know that what you see doesn't reflect reality. You know that everyone only shares their best moments, but the brain can't understand that this isn't real. When you see dozens of beautiful, perfect, successful images every day, something starts to break inside. Research shows that people who use social media a lot experience depression and anxiety disorders more frequently, especially among young people, especially among young girls. Even people who are at peace with their body, their life, and their achievements can feel worse after spending a long time browsing social media. So what can we do to feel better? It's not possible to remove screens from our lives, and it's not necessary either. But some simple changes create big differences over time. For sleep, one of the most effective things is to put down the screen at least 1 hour before bed. It sounds hard. But when you try it for a week, you feel the difference. You notice that you fall asleep faster and wake up more rested. Charging your phone outside the bedroom is also a very simple but very effective habit. The possibility of reaching for your phone when you wake up in the middle of the night disappears. For the body, getting up for a few minutes every hour is enough. Walking, opening your shoulders, stretching your neck. These are small movements, but they are very important for the muscles. And going outside, a short walk every day. Natural light is good for both the eyes and the metabolism. Research shows that spending just 20 minutes outside a day significantly reduces stress hormones. For mental health, the most powerful thing is real connection. Calling someone instead of texting them. Hearing their voice. Spending time face to face with someone, having coffee, going for a walk. Instead of interacting with dozens of people on a screen, actually spending time with a few people. Or dedicating time to a real, hands-on hobby away from screens, reading a book, learning a musical instrument, cooking, drawing, taking care of plants or flowers. What matters is spending time in the real world, with something real, without a screen. Because in those moments the brain truly rests. In those moments you come back to yourself. Modern life doesn't work without screens, but it is possible to stop and take a breath from time to time, to rest the eyes, to give the brain some silence. Small steps create big changes over time, and sometimes the best thing is to turn off the screen and look out the window. That's all for today's video. If you want to keep improving your English, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can write in the comments what topics you want to see. See you next time.